All right. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Ross Cutler, Vice President of Business Development here at AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust. I'm here to do a quick Q&A with the new president of AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust, Steve Mannell. Steve, how are you?
Hey, doing good, Ross. Thank you.
Now, you have to be excited about this new position. What made you apply for this role? What made you want this role?
I am very excited about it. I did not apply for it. So I've been here at AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust since we started the company 6 years ago. What I'm excited about is being able to continue serving in this new role. So I'm looking forward to that.
So going back 6 years, what made you apply to be the CFO of AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust?
Yeah, so I have been the CFO since the beginning. I didn't really apply back then either. It's an opportunity that just appeared. And honestly, I didn't feel like I was qualified for it. And I told the recruiter that. The recruiter accepted that. I offered to help find somebody that was qualified. They called me back 30 days later, asked for my resume, and the rest is history. So I'm lucky to be able to have the opportunity to join the team before it stood up, help get everything on track at the beginning, and then it's been a great 6 years of growing it. You know, what did I like about the opportunity? Well, I've been a member of AAFMAA for 20 years, and so I know what AAFMAA stands for. I know the value. AAFMAA's always grown by word of mouth, people telling each other. And when I was retiring from the military, I really made an effort to get out there and talk to everybody in my transition classes about AAFMAA and share the goodness that I knew it was there. When I heard they were opening a wealth business in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where I was a CFO of a defense contractor, I wasn't looking for a new job, but I jumped on that because I thought that would be a really neat way to extend the services that AAFMAA provides to its members. And it has been. It's been a great 6 years.
That's cool. That's great. So as you move into this new role then, what are your major priorities over the next few months or the next year?
So since I've been here for 6 years, I'm familiar with the path we're on, and I don't foresee any major changes. I'm happy with our vision and mission. So the vision is to ensure the financial security and independence of the American Armed Forces community. Our mission is to be the premier provider of financial planning, investment management, and trust services. No change. That's going to continue the same. My priorities in terms of how we implement that, I've been thinking mainly about three things. So people, our story, and technology. I think we've grown a great team. I want to continue to grow the team and train the team and enable that team to be successful. So we deliver great service. So that's people. Story, because we have grown by word of mouth for so many years, we haven't made a great effort to tell our story. I think we've got a really good story, and we need to tell that more. And then technology, there's been a lot of developments in technology lately in the financial services industry, and if you don't try to adapt to those changes, you can get left behind, and we're not going to get left behind. So those are the three things I'm most focused on.
So keeping what we have in place and really working to improve it and give it more direction. Building on what we have, what do you think are the core strengths of AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust?
It's sort of aligned with my priorities. So I'd say people is the first thing. The core strength is the team we've built and the relationships that we're establishing with our clients. So I really want to focus on that relationship development going forward and make sure that we're really meeting our clients' needs. We're there when they need us. So I think that's at the core of what differentiates us.
Yeah. And there's a lot of competition covering the same ground, looking at the same core strengths that we have. And there's probably competitors that are closely affiliated with us, like First Command, like USAA. Yeah. What makes us different from them? What makes us better than them?
Yeah, so I mean, our differentiation, the things I just said are things that a lot of financial advisors out there could say. I think our core differentiator is that we serve the military, right? We are the military. We're very focused on taking care of military families. The two you just mentioned also do that, right? So they're financial services companies serving the military. I don't think of us as competitors. A lot of our clients come to us from USAA or First Command and a lot of other firms as well. I think of us more as being complementary service providers. So we are different in some key ways. I think, and not to be too simplistic about it, but they're brokers that are delivering products that are suitable for their clients, trying to solve their needs. We're a trust company, not only a trust company, but a nonprofit trust company. So as a trust company, we're not providing products, we're providing services that are in the best interest of our clients. So that's a legal responsibility that we have as a trust company, and it's just also a cultural and a mission-driven responsibility that we have. So I think that is different. It's a different focus, and it's a different way that we interact with our clients. And the nonprofit part is odd. There's no other company like us out there, but it's odd in a good way in that we don't have an owner or shareholders that we have to pay dividends to. So to the extent that we're making positive net income, profits, that gets reinvested in the company to improve the value of services we're providing. So all of that is very different than those other companies that are out there providing similar services.
So being more supplemental, integrating more into whatever the client service is needed, we just have a little bit more focus on the services we provide.
Yeah, I think so. So, they provide a lot of services we don't. Here at AAFMAA Wealth Management Trust, we're focused on financial planning, investment management, trust services. We provide those services in a way that's in the best interest of our client. We focus strictly on military clients. It's a very tight restriction on us. It's enforced on us by the IRS tax code as a nonprofit. So we're not going to deviate from that. I think that very narrow focus is at the core of what's different for us.
Thinking about that, where do you want to lead these services over the next 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years is a long time. So we talked about vision and mission is the same. Some of the priorities, we do have a 5-year business plan. So we know what we're executing on. You project that out to 10 years. Where are we? We're a bigger company. We're providing a higher level of service to our clients. Perhaps we're branching out into some adjacent services beyond the core of what we're providing right now. Some of the things that we talk about are providing better service in a more accessible way to our clients that are still in uniform. Can we adapt our platform in a way that makes more sense for them? Perhaps providing better services to our military clients that are now business owners or running nonprofit foundations themselves. Can we do things for them? So I think in 10 years, we'll be doing our core better, offering adjacent services, and we'll be larger. I like to think that in 10 years, we'll be as big, if not bigger than our parent company. And that would be good for the entire association. It would be very neat.
Oh, that would be very cool. And I guess that goes a long way out of looking how services change, client needs will change, focusing on those adjacent services complementary to our core services now. What does our core client, or what does our typical client look like right now?
Yeah, it's interesting. Our clients are varied. So we've got young warriors that are 20 years old just entering service. We've got clients on the other end of the spectrum that are over 100 and retired a long time ago, and everything in between. So guys actively serving, veterans that got out when they were young or older, and retired military guys, their spouses, their widows or widowers, their minor dependent children and grandchildren. So that's the limit of who we can provide services to. And then within that broad range, where do we see people coming to us for help? It's fairly well spread across it. Most of it is people that have questions about where they are in their life with financial planning, or they're running out of time to take care of it for themselves, or they've become upset with other advisors, or there's a lapse in their ability to take care of it themselves, or they're losing interest. So a whole wide variety of reasons.
So touching base a little bit more on that,
Yeah.
Thinking about the family dynamics, serving a multiple range of clients, why are they choosing AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust?
Yeah, I mean, I talked in general terms about some of them. I'm a client, you're a client, right? So we work here, and we also benefit from the services because we've got an inside view of how good they are. Why do I do it? I like to be able to talk to my relationship manager and my financial planner about how I'm going to send the kids to college over the next few years and how I'm going to pay for that. I really, and I was kind of surprised by this. I really felt a great sense of relief when I moved my retirement accounts over to AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust, because I sort of now share responsibility for managing that with a professional team. It's not all on me, and I don't have to answer to the family for volatility in the markets. So a lot of reasons. Our president emeritus, Rick Convey, always compares it to mowing the lawn, right? Some people like to mow their own lawn. Some people pay other people to mow their lawn. It's the same with financial services. Some people like doing it themselves, and they'll do it themselves for as long as they feel capable. And some don't, and they'll pay somebody else to essentially be the CFO of their military family, take care of that for them so they can focus on what they want to focus on.
Yeah.
What about you? Why do you do it?
I really do it, same reason. It takes the burden off of me to stay engaged in the market every day. I can rely on our portfolio managers to focus on the market. I can talk with them about the strategies they're implementing, see their perspective, something that takes my emotion out of it. So even as a financial advisor, I think that we're all impacted by some of our own personal behavior. And that plays a role in how you think about your financial situation. It also helps looking at the family dynamics, same situation. It's easier in a family discussion when you talk about this is the advice, from our financial team versus this is what I think the right approach is. Especially when you're working with a spouse or your children, you have outside input, or you have third-party input that just provides more guidance. So I think it opens up the discussion with the family to have a more open dialogue on what their preferences are, what their goals are. And it just creates a better overall synergy for the family in the financial well-being.
Yeah, no, I agree. Honestly, for me, it was a big change because I always managed my own finances. And so considering where the value was in a fully managed relationship with somebody else, it was hard for me to get my head around that until I tried it and discovered that this is pretty good. I enjoy it.
It is. It relieves a little bit of the burden.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think moving forward for people who, don't know if they need financial planning, for people who may not think they need financial planning, what's the piece of advice or what's the guidance you give them?
Try it. You might like it. Seriously, what we do is not right for everybody, right? So occasionally people will come to us asking us to look at their situations and asking us for advice, and we'll do the analysis and discover that they planned pretty well themselves, or their advisor is giving them good advice, or for some other reason we can't do better than what they're doing right now. Can't provide any value. If we can't provide value, we're not going to push somebody to work with us. That's not why we're here. But if you're wondering about it, there are a lot of ways that you can explore the offerings. We offer complimentary portfolio reviews. So if you have an advisor or you're managing your own investments, just contact us and talk to us about it, and we can give you an objective assessment about how well you're doing or your advisor's doing. If you want to try to figure out what financial planning is and what it's all about, what it would be like to work with us, talk to us about it. We've got a freemium, free tier of access to our financial planning software that we provide is our financial dashboard. And even at that free level, it has lots of really useful calculators. I use it, get my alerts every week and check how I'm doing just because it all aggregates right there. I can update the calculators on how well I'm doing on my savings for college or planning for retirement, and then I can read stuff in the education center. So there are a lot of ways to experience what we offer, and most of them up front are totally free. So if you want to consider what it would be like to have somebody working as the CFO of your military family, all you have to do is ask, and we'll show you what that could be like.
Yeah, it's kind of like Facebook or Instagram when somebody comments on a picture and you say, well, I'm just going to check on that comment or go look at it, and then you get sucked into Facebook for 30 minutes just digging through other stories. And I think that the financial dashboard kind of gives you a good perspective, and the tools get kind of fun. You kind of start to think, well, let's play around a little bit. Let's see what happens when I make changes. Let's see what happens if this happens. So yeah, it is a fun dashboard. It is fun to play with. So yeah, that's definitely something to look into. And it's exciting to play. It's kind of a do-it-yourself method to look at your accounts and get an idea of the impact certain things can have on your financial future.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you think about it, at some point in our lives, all of us are going to need help managing our finances. And so wouldn't it be much easier to start the process early in building a relationship with the firm you trust so that when you need somebody to help you, it's there. And I think that's the service we provide to military families.
And looking at the military families that are currently working with advisors, that are happy with their relationships, and considering AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust, what do you tell them?
So if you're happy with your relationship and you don't want to change, there can be a lot of reasons for that. Kind of what I said earlier, we're not here to twist anybody's arm. We'll show you what we could do and how it would be different if you're happy because your advisor is your cousin and he lives around the corner and you like to walk in and talk to him over a cup of coffee every month. And we can't beat that, right? So, we're not going to be right for everybody. But if you're thinking about your financial future and you want that to be successful, I'd encourage you to look around and think about it like hiring an employee. So imagine your family is your business and you want it to be successful. If you're going to, no kidding, hire an employee to manage your finances for you, how would you go about doing that? And you'd interview several people and talk to them. All I'm saying is that we should be in the consideration set because of the way we're structured, our values, and the quality of service we're providing.
Yeah, the core strength that we talked about. I think that's what gives us a huge advantage. And it's the personalization, I think, that core strength touches on. And it's AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust. And it's trust at the end. Yeah. And I think that sometimes people aren't sure what a trust is, why they need a trust, who needs a trust. Talk to us a little bit more about the trust business, the trust service that you provide.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier how we're a trust company and not a broker, and you've got to work with somebody you trust. Two different meanings of the word trust. So let's focus on what it means to be a trust company. Does everybody need a trust? No, probably not. Everybody needs to do some estate planning and to figure out what's going to happen to their assets after they're no longer able to manage them. But that could be simply a will. Do only rich people need trust? No. Trust can be used for a variety of different purposes to accomplish what you want to with your assets. A great example is a special needs trust. So if you have a dependent that you want to provide resources to, it would make sense to provide those resources in such a way that you don't jeopardize any government benefits they might be entitled to. So that there's a very good reason to have a trust that has nothing to do with intergenerational wealth transfer in terms of saving on taxes. It's all about making sure that you're caring for the beneficiaries of the trust.
No, and and it's something that a trust can be a part of so many people's lives and be used in so many different ways. It's definitely worth having a discussion about. Let's take a step back real quick. Let's talk about Steve Mannell. On your calendar, on a few days a week, you have something called accountability in there. What is that? What does that mean, accountability, in your schedule?
This is something, it kind of gets back to people, and one of the priorities for the first few months, year of being here. We're all here working on a team, and we have tasks that we're supposed to be accomplishing. We need to make sure we're all doing what's expected of us. And so, for me, I like to just check in with myself and make sure that I'm executing what I need to be executing to make everybody else successful. So, that's kind of what that's about.
There's a lot there. So you have your personal life, you have a family.
I do.
You have charities that you're involved with.
Yeah.
You have local community activities you're involved with. How do you keep up with all these different activities simultaneously going on in your life every day?
So good question. I don't think of it as being different things, right? So my family obviously is critically important to me. My kids are getting older. Time with them is going to be limited. So that's a priority of mine. I like my job. I try to find where I can fit on the team and add the most value, and I feel good about doing that. So it's work, and you have to work hard at it, but it doesn't really feel like work if you enjoy it, so it's easier to do. Stuff with military charities. I run a scholarship fund for SF kids. It takes some time, it takes some effort. You don't want to mess it up. We've given over $1 million to SF kids in the last several years for school, but it's related to what I do professionally and my own family. So it's all an integrated whole for me. It all feels good. If things start to get out of whack, I start feeling anxious about it, and I just direct more attention to that and prioritize it. It works for me.
So a career in the military, a charity focused on military families, very specific military families, and a second career still focused on the military community.
Yeah.
Kind of keeps you in touch.
It does. I enjoy continuing to be able to serve. I would have, and people that weren't in the military are sometimes skeptical when I say this. If I could have been an SF detachment commander or company commander for as long as I was physically capable of doing it, I would have done that, and you wouldn't have had to pay me anything. I loved it that much. When you leave the military, sort of that mission focus and that kind of tribal sense of belonging to something bigger than yourself is really, really hard to find. I think we might get close here at AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust. I wouldn't have been here for 6 years already if I didn't think that was true. We are mission driven. We have a great team. It does feel good to come to work, but that's what it's about for me. That's what I'm trying to accomplish here. And at the end of the day, if we can do that, our clients are going to benefit.
Yeah. So good insight where AAFMAA came from, where AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust is going, where Steve Mannell came from, where Steve Mannell wants to take it. Considering one thing that we can leave with everyone today, what's something else that we can share with them?
The one last thing. I don't know if I have anything that's any better than what I've discussed already, but what I would say is that I mean, I am grateful for this opportunity. It's a great company to work for. I'm proud of what we're doing, and I'm really excited to see where we're going to take it. So I think that getting all of us invested in the path ahead for the next 10 years, right? The timeline you talked about, I think if we can all do that and all move forward in a coordinated way together as a team, that it's going to be really exciting to see where we wind up.
No, it's definitely going to be exciting. We have the vision, we have the mission, now it's just the execution. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. I hope it was good insight into where AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust is going over the next 10 years and the new leadership that's taken us there.
Cheers. You didn't drink your coffee once.
I took a couple of sips.